Alright, what's up, guys? Now, I'm kind of doing a part two to my last video because some people seem to think, and I've seen this conversation before with a lot of different games, actually, games that I was even able to get through and stuff. And I think it's one of those phrases where it's like people need to just stop saying it because the thing is this, it don't matter whether the person has years of experience in video games or if they just start playing video games today. Overall, from what I remember when I was getting into video games when I was a kid, video games are supposed to be fun. It ain't supposed to be this stressful experience. It shouldn't be about cheating or any other stuff. It is all about having fun. Now, if I find it not fun that I'm trying to go up against guys and I can't talk it on Elden Ring, but it's like I can't go up against guys because the thing is this. All right, if it's this so-called skill issue, right? If it's this so-called skill issue that everybody talks on, so why is it that for some of the most easiest games in the world, they will literally walk you halfway through the game before they actually have you doing some stuff? But they're not going to have it where you just get this unrealistic, because if I'm going into this game with my skill issues, I'm not going to go out there with some flimsy sword and thinking, oh yeah, I could take out this big giant golden man on a golden horse. No, I'm going out there with an AR-15 and I'm blowing the man's head off. All right, that's that. If I'm bringing my own personal skills into this game, that's how I'm doing it. And then if I go onto YouTube to go watch a tutorial on how to take out some big giant golden man on a golden horse, the video should be able to work. I'll go and watch a video on YouTube on how to take out that golden guy and stuff in the golden horse. Absolutely nothing. Did nothing to help me with that mission. Or not mission, but to take out that boss. And then people are saying like, oh, you could go beyond that boss. But it's like, I didn't buy the game to just go. Because if that's the case, then I'll go beyond every boss until I get to the credits. And I'm like, hey, I beat the game without killing anybody. That's not fun. I didn't buy the game not to play it. I bought the game. Some people may, because I've seen that before in video games where people buy games to not play them. And that's something that I just don't understand. Like Destiny, for an example. Destiny, in my opinion, is a lot easier than Elden Ring. And you have people in there not playing the game. And I'm like, I didn't buy a game to not play it. I bought a game to play it. So when they come at me with that skill issue thing, it's like, okay, overall, Elden Ring it's a form of a fighting game. I'm not going to all the way say that it's a fighting game because I feel like that there's more to it. But overall, though, when most people look at what you're doing in that game, what are you overall doing? You're fighting against stuff. I have been playing fighting games my whole life. I think some of the first few games that I've played were fighting games. So when people tell me that it's a skill thing, and it's like, okay, do I have to be 70 something years old? Do I have to, instead of having 20 plus years of gaming experience, I gotta have 70 plus years of gaming experience just to go up against one guy? That's just the first guy in Elden Ring. I don't even know what's gonna be all the other. But it's like, bruh, come on now. It is not no skill issue. And it's like, because the thing is this. If it was just me with this so-called skill issue, right? Why is there so many videos of people rage quitting, breaking stuff, going crazy, losing their minds over this game? It's funny how before recording this video, YouTube recommended me a compilation that I remember seeing a long time ago of Elden Ring, and it's like all the way back then, all the way up into this very day, you got people struggling with this game. A video game shouldn't be a struggle. When I think of video games, I think of when I'm coming home from school, I just had a stressful day, arguing with teachers, arguing with students, arguing with the lunch lady, arguing with school security. I was one of those kids, all right? So anyways, I come home, I want to play video games. Fam, I'm not trying to have it where I get this overly challenging video game that I can't even get through. That's that type of stuff that ends up in that pile where it's like, yeah, I'm taking this game up to GameStops and I don't even want to fool with the game no more. I don't want to do that with Elden Ring. So I'm saying, like, you know, if this video can somewhat persuade the developers, maybe we should tone it down a little bit. Maybe we should have it, because I'm like, that to me, it's not even a fair fight. It's like I'm pretty much a white belt trying to go up against a bunch of black belts. Do you honestly think? And it's like, because that's overall something that I should know. But it's like, if you put me in this game blindly and I'm over here thinking, yeah, I could take out this guy, but he takes me out in 1.5 hits and I gotta watch all these different videos on how to take this, to me, that's not fun. That's not what a video game is. At least when I grew up playing video games, I got a list of PlayStation 2 OG Xbox, I got a gang of games I could tell you guys about where it was nothing like that. So when people come at me with that skill issue stuff, I'm like, fam, it ain't got nothing to do with a person's skill issue. When a game is difficult, the developers need to tone it down a little bit, because there's no reason for this game to be this crazy difficult game that nobody can get through. And I'm like, even my friend was playing the game, she couldn't get through. She couldn't even get through the same guy that I was dealing with. So it's one of those things where and she's been playing video games for a long time too. So it's one of those things where people, when they say stuff like that, I'm like, fam, I'm not hearing that skill issue stuff. The only thing I'm trying to hear is when the developers come out with a patch update or some form of update where it's all like, yeah, we're making this game easier for the newcomers, for the people because it's like, you have to understand, there are going to be people that's going to be playing this game for the first time, so they're not going to have a clear idea of what they're walking into. And when you have them go through a tutorial where it pretty much misleads them into thinking like, oh, if this is how it's gonna be, then fam, this game's gonna be a walk in the park. Then you go up against the very first person that you go up against, that big giant golden man, and he just takes you, because it's like, what did most people do when they very first played the game? It ain't like they got like something hovering over the guy to let you know that, oh, this is a difficult person, unless I missed it, but they don't have that. Versus other games like Destiny 1 and 2, when there were enemies in that game that were way beyond your level, they will let you know that. So it's like the game somewhat helped you, and then when you did get to that level, then it was easier to take those guys out. So I'm saying it's one of those things where it's like, it either needs to be, if I'm paying for a game, I should be able to get the experience that I want to get, but it should be one of two things. It's like, I'm taking these guys out, or it's a battle, but I still end up taking these guys out, because it's like, it's a fighting game. You know, it's like, yeah, if I'm dodging and moving, but it's like, okay, then when he connects, then he takes out half my health. How is that? What is skill? My thing is this, because I know people will say some dumb stuff, will avoid his hits. What else is there to do? That's what I'm like I said, I know it's a fighting game, but it's like when I'm hitting this guy and I'm barely doing any damage to him, I die, and then his health regenerates. It goes back to where it is. How is that? What does skill have to do with that? What does skill have to do with the fact that this guy is more stronger than me? And it's unplayable. Like I'm saying, I don't think people don't fully understand that, because it's like they want to defend this game. They love this game. They sleep with this game at night. Every time when they have a conversation about video games, this is the one video game that they talk about with everybody. And it's like, okay, you might love this game, you might want to defend this game in every argument that this game is involved in, but at the end of the day, there are still going to be people that feel a certain way about this game. It don't matter whether you love this game or not. If you love this game, that is on you. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just trying to get an experience of the game where I can actually enjoy it. But there ain't nothing enjoyable about a game where I'm trying to go up against guys and I can't even do nothing to them. I'm saying, so it's like, it's one of those things where I'm like, people, you just play some different video games out there, and then maybe you'll get a better understanding of where I'm coming from and stuff. But yeah, it's like when you sit down, like, because I said this before, where it's like, let's say if you're playing a racing game, if you're people that's in the racing community and stuff, you play like Forza, Gran Turismo, Sella Corsa, and all that stuff. Like, yeah, they might have like some form of challenge in that game, but overall, you've played a racing game before, right? It's crazy how games like that, like games like Forza, for an example, they'll have you go through the most like basic of basic tutorials where it's all like, press this the trigger button to give your car gas, press this button to to put on the brakes, press or move this stick over the turn, the other direction and stuff. It's like, oh, come to a complete stop. It's like, oh, now you understand it. And then it's like, okay, if you know how to play this game, then this should be a walk in the park. So I'm saying, it's like and then the thing is this, it shouldn't be no stuff where I gotta go on some Indiana Jones adventure just to upgrade my character. It's all like, okay, my thing is this, if I overall know that my character needs to be at a certain level, I shouldn't even be in that area. They should have me off in easier areas. But it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm saying all this, people are not going to understand. They still going to defend everything about this game. And I'm like, I've seen this before where when I talk, and I'm not saying that I'm putting out like some, spell or hex on the game, but I've seen this before where it's like when I talk on games and I talk on something negative and then nothing's being changed or done, usually those those games don't end up lasting that long. So I will say that right now, Elden Ring is probably the top playing game right now because of this DLC and all that other stuff. But I guarantee and I promise you, it's like if they don't do nothing to accommodate people that's just trying to have an easy experience in the game, I promise you there's going to be a lot of people that's going to get bored of this game. Maybe they might come out with an Elden Ring 2 that might be better. Who knows? But it's one of those things where it's all like Elden Ring 1, talking on this current one, it ain't gonna last that long. And it's like, and hopefully if they do decide to come out with a part 2, it's like, fam, make it easier for people. Don't have it where it's this over challenging, especially when there's people, I'm just trying to play a game and just get through it and just see what the game is all about. That's all I'm trying to do. You know, it's like if I want a challenge, then that option should be there. It shouldn't be like the only option. It should be one of many options where it's like, oh, okay, well, now I want to challenge myself. Then that's when you have it where these guys is taking me out 1.5 hits. But it should be an equal thing. Elden Ring, you and the enemy, it should be an equal thing. It shouldn't be no thing where it's all like, oh, I gotta go travel around the whole area just so I can come back and take out that. No, bro, that to me is just pointless. So, but anyways, yeah, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of do a follow-up video because when they say that skill level thing, and I'm like, so on top of the 27 years I already have with gaming, I got to gain an additional 27 years. If that's the case, I don't even want to play the game. I'll play something else because I'm like, it shouldn't require that. But like I'm saying, do I gotta go? Do I gotta literally find some Elden Ring sitting around in this world? Do I gotta go on an actual IRL adventure just to figure out this game? No, bruh, that it's stuff like that where I'm like, no, it's overall a fighting game. They tell you what buttons you need to press. It shouldn't be no situation where it's all like, oh, now I gotta go and do all this extra stuff. Just it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, people, you know, I said what I need to say. Overall, it's like the game is difficult. The game don't need to be difficult. That's all I'm trying to say. Again, if you love this game, that is 100% on you. That ain't got nothing to do with me. All right. So yeah, I'm just saying that because you know there is people in the last video and they're all like trying to defend the game like it's a skill issue. It's a skill issue. And I'm like, bro, I'm saying it's you think that it's like, okay, we're making a game for gamers. Who's gonna be buying this game? Book readers. I'm saying it's all like, you know, mentally insane people. I'm trying to think of some other they're like government workers. Yeah, it might be. There might be some Wall Street you know, journalist people playing Elden Ring, but I'm saying at the end of the day, the majority of the people that is playing this game is gamers. Make it for all gamers, all right? Not just, you know, people that's playing these extremely difficult, challenging games where it's like you can't even do nothing with somebody unless you go on some wild adventure, and then you gotta come back to them, and it's like, do you honestly think if I'm going on this wild adventure, I see something else, I'm like, oh, well, let me do this, and I gotta keep going back, and I ain't even trying to do all that. Yeah, they do got fast travel, and I very well could just fast travel back to the guy. Still, again, the game needs to be easy. It shouldn't have a requirement to do all that extra stuff, but anyways, yeah, I feel like it's just going to be the same thing with this video. People are going to want to argue, and it's like, all right, well, you can sit around and argue. I'm still going to feel the same way I feel about this game, all right? So, but anyways, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and peace.